So Ricky the Dragon Steamboat wants to be just like his hero Bruce Lee, eh? Well, in that case, the dragon better harden his scales. Thanks for tuning in to another special episode of Tyler Vance Rants. I am your host, Tyler Vance himself, and you're not. It's August 2nd, 1985. On last week's TNT, it was a hillbilly showdown as Hillbilly Jim and his Uncle Elmer showed everyone what it was like to live uncivilized in the hills. The Mouth of the South Jimmy Hart warned WWF Intercontinental Champion Tito Santana that he was now the Hart Foundation's #1 target. And Vince McMahon demanded an apology from Terry Funk for his actions against Mel Phillips recently, a demand which went ignored. Thankfully, we're no longer in Uncle Elmer's disgusting barn, but rather back in the normal TNT set, as both hosts Vince McMahon and Lord Awful Alfred Hayes announced that Quick Draw Rick McGraw actually went through with getting married, despite both the Lord and Mrs. Ophelia Vachon begging him not to. Attaboy, Quick Draw. First up this week is a singles match between Gino, Carabello, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat going one-on-one, with Steamboat dissecting Carabello with his MMA style, getting an easy and impressive win following a flying crossbody off of the top rope. In the studio, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat arrives for his interview and admits that he loves the unjustified adulation that the moronic masses give to him.
Hey, pat me on the back, grab me, or, hug me or whatever. I love it.
Gee, how modest of you. Steamboat himself was featured in an article of Cosmopolitan magazine recently. You know, the magazine that women adhere to as if it were the Bible itself, and it turns out that the dragon was listed as
one of the top 10 athletic hunks.
Are they blind? Vince McMahon then brings up the fact that Ricky Steamboat himself suffered a vicious attack at the hands of both the Magnificent Muraco and his manager, Mr. Fuji, on an episode of the WWF's flagship show, Championship Wrestling. Steamboat views the whole ordeal as his first big challenge since arriving in the World Wrestling Federation, stating,
"This is something that I need and I like and I'm happy about it."
Ricky, you're an idiot. The Magnificent Muraco is gonna kill you.
On assignment in a remote, swampy area of South Florida. Here looking for Corporal Kirchner. Corporal Kirchner, a member of the 82nd Airborne Division. It is here where apparently Corporal Kirchner does his training for his upcoming battles to be. I hopefully can find the man here someplace. Corporal, you fit right in. I walked right by here. I didn't see you.
I'm proud to be Corporal Kirchner. I'm proud to be an American, and I'm proud to be in the World Wrestling Federation.
Who ordered Sergeant Slaughter from Timu? That disgusting slob, Captain Loser Albano, then arrives for an interview, looking nothing more than melted ice cream in that chair, which is probably begging to be put out of its misery before the captain himself describes the special diet so that if you too want to look like a tub of goo, have a listen.
3 quarts of unborn virgin goat's milk daily, baby. That's how you start it off. You gotta have calf's heart, you gotta have beef liver, and then you can have a body like the captain. Hey, Ricky! How's that, baby?
One of the men, rather animals, that the captain has been managing recently is George Steele, who's in action next against Steve Lombardi, who looks to take the animal's head as a trophy. Jumping George Steele at the sound of the bell, but is quickly overwhelmed with a huge body slam. Captain Loser Albano joins guest commentary to discuss how somehow he has surpassed classy Freddie Blassie as the manager with the most votes in the WWF's Manager of the Year contest, while casually ignoring Steele's war crimes within the squared circle. Just because you're the size of 10 people doesn't mean that your votes are worth as much, Captain. Back to the action, Lombardi himself is thrown so hard into the corner that his head bounces off of the ring post before a raised hammerlock from the animal forces him to submit. Back in June, George the Animal Steele underwent his first session of hypnotherapy with Dr. Sigmund Ziff. I've linked that episode down below for your viewing pleasure, and now Steele's second session with that doctor is underway.
A little head, George, what I'm going to put it. Don't worry, George, putting on this head, it's a good size 9 and a half.
You've got to be kidding me, Mr. Albano. No, easy, Mr. McMahon, easy.
Just a
Wait a minute, look at that.
That's coming up, George. You feel wonderful. Wait, this is working out. Oh, George is smiling. Intelligent smile, George.
How now, brown cow?
Oh, it's what's happening? What, George? You
better cut that off,
George!
Hey!
Come on!
Hey!
Doc!
Hey!
Why you quack, you?
Me?
What have you done? You quack, you animal doctor, you veterinarian!
What the hell are you talking about? Dr. Sigmund Ziff is not only the world's most renowned gynecologist, but he is the leading psychiatrist when it comes to both hypnotherapy and shock treatment. How dare you state that he's nothing more than a quack when all Dr. Ziff has done is improve George the Animal Steele's cognitive ability? I've never heard such nonsense. Jim Young takes on the Magnificent Muraco, accompanied by Mr. Fuji, in the main event of TNT, and Young is completely manhandled by Muraco from bell to bell, suffering a tombstone piledriver which results in a magnificent 3. The Magnificent Muraco and Mr. Fuji then arrive for their interview, and it turns out that Muraco has been gifted something special from an anonymous source. Come on, tell us, what's in the box?
Take time, yeah. No, don't say now. Look in the back. Look in the back. Look in the back. Turn around. Look.
Oh, my goodness. Some wino must have sent this to me.
I can't believe that.
Some drunk must have sent this to me. Somebody with a real...
Try harder.
This is your idea of a joke?
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is in for a world of hurt. If there is one thing that's made the Magnificent Muraco successful, and trust me, there are plenty more, it's the fact that the Magnificent One always backs up what he says he's going to do. Steamboat already learned just how vicious and violent both the Magnificent Muraco and Mr. Fuji could be, but that was only the tip of the iceberg. The Magnificent Muraco will slay the dragon before he returns to all of his beautiful Hawaiian princesses. Mark my words. Get out of here, you slug! The show's over! Thanks for tuning in to another special episode of Tyler Vance Rants. This episode might be over, but you can always stay on top of the fun with pro wrestling by hitting the bell, liking the video, and subscribing. You can also follow me on social media where it is 1985 and pro wrestling all over again. That's all for now. So long. Who origin? Oh man. I mentioned Timu, and apparently I no longer know how to speak English. The Magnificent Muraco and Mr. Fuji... I don't know what's going on with my cognitive ability today. How do I not get my own intro right? Outro! What's going on with me today? How dare you accuse of a Thanks for coming.